what you got.
This was part 1. We built a base. We got raided. Built another base. And that got raided too. We finally found a distant snowy island. And we built a home. Things were finally getting better. Plenty of nodes. And the ocean was for the taking. Now, here we are. Let's continue the story. I luckily did enough farming to last to the end of wipe, so any chance I had, I'd get the furnaces kicking again. Out here in the snow, life was cozy. The world outside was frozen, but in here, my comfort was high, and I was feeling warm. Yeah, after this, I need to expand. Wait, let me eat something real quick. The weather outside made me want to stay inside, but there was work that needed to be done, and so I made my way across the snowy tundra in the direction of the closest access I had to the underground. Because I was determined, this wipe, I'd get all the BPs that I needed. One way or another, I was gonna make it happen. But as I approached the power plant, I noticed a player that was recycling. Now, my goal was to go underground, and that involves a lot of bandages and a lot of ammo. Was this really a fight that was worth taking? If I lost, I would lose all that I had on me, and that seemed unnecessary. So instead, I followed him with the tip of my barrel until he disappeared. And then, I sunk into the underworld. Jeez. Oh, wow. Those runs are always much longer than they seem, and to lose all of that loot that way hit a little different. But as you guys know, as solos, we don't dwell. You just respawn at base, pick up a task, and get to work. After doing some maintenance around the base, I decided to go hit up power plant for some loot. But when I arrived, I noticed a crate had recently dropped, so I began the hacking. I found a nice spot tucked away, and I waited out the minutes. And then suddenly, this guy showed up. Now, looking back at this moment from a narrator's perspective, I realize that I probably should have taken the shot, but hindsight is 2020. And at this moment, I had a plan. I heard another player approaching. So the idea was that one player would take the loot, the other player would kill the player with the loot, and then I would kill the last player. But as soon as this guy looted, he noticed me. And this happened. And so I rushed back to the scene. And as I approached, I was shot at. But ascending from the side, I got a clean headshot. Maybe I got a little bit of revenge, but regardless, it was time to move on. And so I followed the whispers back underground. This time, I was gonna make it happen. Oh my god, yes, dude. Finally. I've died so many times, it's unreal. I got one successful run. Hey, I'd say that's pretty loaded. Let's recycle some of this stuff here and I'll spawn back over at base and make the shop. and not one to roam around outposts and ask people for things.
My boy, you got a singular pistol bullet, my boy. Singular pistol
But sometimes, if the moment is right and the person's request is reasonable, I try to make their experience better too.
Oh, thank you, sir! Sir, thank you!
I researched some of the items that I had purchased from local shops, and then I spawned back at base to build my own shop. That was how I was going to bring back all my scrap safely. And just like that, I had all my scrap. On the hardest server in Rust, dying is common. And for me, I enjoy grabbing a jackhammer, a gun, and doing some farming as a way to put my mind in a positive state. Because remember, us solos, we don't dwell. With an abundance of resources, I began to honeycomb the outside of the base and to add the second floor. With the second floor available, I began to organize my boxes and place them in the loot rooms. It was going to take me a while to get my loot organized, but a solo can't function with a messy base. Now that my loot was dispersed, I was able to seal off my first suicide bunker, and this gave me some peace of mind because at least my TC was safe now. While I was out collecting scrap and components, I came across this base that looked freshly raided, so I came over to investigate. It seemed like the base had been raided and certain parts of it were not reached, and now they were decaying, so I looked through the boxes and I collected what I could. But when I came across this box, my jaw dropped. Oh wow. And so I quickly built a 1x1 right outside of the base. My plan was to bring over all the loot that I saw as important and store it in this 1x1. And when it was safe, I would slowly move all of the loot back home. Moving the loot back to my base was going to be a challenge, and the less items I had, the better. So I decided to take my MP5, a green card, and a fuse box, and go do sewer. I was going to take some of the components that I had collected from the base and recycle them while I was down there. Again, the less items to carry, the better. The sewer branch run was smooth, so I decided to go ahead and do airfield now that I had a blue card. To my surprise, airfield went smoothly as well. But now, it was time to move the loot back home. I knew that moving the loot would take a couple rounds, and on my second round, I heard a raid that was going down very close to my 1x1. Since I had an abundance of guns, I went to go check it out. But there's always somebody else. After respawning at my 1x1, I grabbed the remainder of the loot and made the final run. While I was running past the distracted raiders, I was hit. And there, on the ground, I crawled in hopes of finding a place to hide my body. But this time around, the rust gods were with me, and they lifted me up. And with that, I made a smooth getaway. The bunker was in need of an upgrade, so I took the metal that I had and I strengthened the core. I found this boat while I was roaming, and at this point I didn't have too much use for it, but I definitely wanted to bring it closer to my island, just in case I needed to move around through the water. I finally had the Dropbox blueprint. Now I can move loot in and out of my bunkers. As a solo, organization is your best friend. The more organized you are, the better off you'll be. And now that I had specific rooms for specific things, I made sure to set up a loot room down in the bunker, and it was going to take some time, but that's okay. I turned on some music and I began organizing. There we go. Now, the loot was organized. I was feeling more comfortable. And now that I had the large furnace BP, it was time to grab some wood and some stone and build out the furnace base. Now that my large furnace base was complete and the furnace was cooking, I decided to go over and seal up the second bunker. Now, raiding this base was gonna be torture. the dead of the night, I decided when the sun rises, I'm gonna try my hand at Underwater Labs. I very rarely go down there. Although I didn't have a wetsuit to protect me from the water, I decided I'd go down anyways and see what I could pull off. My boat despawned, so I'm just gonna swim out to Underwater Labs, see how this goes. But when I arrived, I noticed that there were no scientists, which probably meant that there was somebody on board or somebody had recently been here. So I quietly navigated the labs. After looting some crates, I realized that my timing wasn't good, so I decided I was gonna leave. I would leave Underwater Labs for another day. While I was out stashing away some things for precautionary reasons, I noticed this guy sleeping right here. This made me a little worried because this could have been a raid attempt. So I took what I could and I helped him into a deeper sleep. Now, I had a green card and I had a blue card. It only made sense that I needed to do a red card monument, and the closest one to me was launch site, so I ran over to the closest river and I filled up my jug. I was dead set on that launch site loot. On my way over, I saw this flashing light in my peripheral, and as I approached, I realized it was a supply drop, and somehow I got the loot. It didn't matter now because I got the loot.
on free for all this time that I had enough. I'ma stay floating high, but listen, feel louder, I'm gone. Elevate. Can you see me up there? I keep no time, I just don't care. All these things that I don't bear. Space is blind, so I just stare. I'm floating out there somewhere near Neptune. I'm floating out there somewhere near Neptune. I've been sinking down into Jupiter. I can hear a sound. It's all just a blur. I'm on, turning the stars. Deep down, I'm feeling warm. I had enough of the games. Haters do not feel the shame. I am the one who's to blame. I float up this all the same.
And just like that, launch site was mine. I very rarely get decent loot from launch site, but this time it wasn't so bad. The best item was probably the bolty, and personally I'm not much of a roof camper, so yeah. But there was no room to complain. This wipe had taken a total 360. I went from consistently being rated to very well off. Here, far away from the rest of the world, I felt happy. And yeah, I know, I'm a dreamer, and a cozy base calls for the best dreams. But usually, I'm not one for being out in the snow, but this time around, it saved me. This was a BP wipe, and I didn't think much was gonna happen other than researching blueprints. But far too much happened. This was all in preparation for next week's video. We're gonna put all these blueprints to work. So I thank you guys for getting this far into the video, and for always watching, commenting, and liking. Hello? Are you there? Dude, don't worry. I'm not gonna hurt you, but I'm actually just gonna give you this gun, my outfit, some ammo. Looks like you just started. I mean, you could just come out naked. Alright, dude. I'm gonna leave him at the foot of your door. There you go, man. The dreamers are a different breed. When they love hard. So to all of you out there, I send you orange hearts. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys next week. You've been watching an Orange Dream production.